Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. You guys know who it is. This is Tony Lynch. I'm the host of this podcast, and we are your number one podcast for bringing you conversations around death, dying, and grief, and all the messiness that comes in between there with some amazing people who not only talk the talk but have walked the walk and have doing out here doing some amazing things with some amazing journeys. Now, before we get started, I would like to just say that this is if you're tuning in from anywhere other than that YouTube channel, do me a favor, head on over to that YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified every time that we drop a new episode. But most importantly, if you know anyone who could benefit from the conversation that we have, please share this along with them. Get your questions and comments ready because this is a live stream event, and we're gonna be just we're gonna be diving deeper into people's stories, man, to help you understand that you're not by yourself in your journey and that healing is possible. Now, before I bring on my next guest, I would like to say that this is for educational purposes only. Now, I'm going to bring on my next guest. Guys, help me welcome my next guest, Sam. Sam, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, most definitely. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm excited. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. We got a lot to. We talked for a good little while the last time. I can only imagine how this conversation is going to go. You have an amazing journey. You do some amazing work. Now, before we get into your story, tell people who you are, where you're from, and about the work that you do.
All right. I am Sam Sundius. I am a human being in Queens, New York, who's also an artist and creative and life coach. My business is called Art of Undiscipline. What else? Those are the basics. Those are the most important things.
Yes. Now, how did you get into this work?
Into the coaching work or into the artist work? I guess it's kind of a similar story.
Yeah, both. How did you get into both doing the work that you do now with both of them, coaching and art?
Oof. Where's the kind of straightforward answer to this one? I started like taking on clients as a coach because when I started working with a coach, it radically changed my life. It was so incredibly helpful, and I realized that I'm wondering, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
I'm having so many technical problems over here.
It happens. It definitely happens.
I think. Sorry. Let me keep talking while I try and fix my thing. I figured out that everything that I've done in life before this point, like before actually like becoming a coach, was really about like trying to help people do their best expression of whatever it is they wanted to do. And so I worked in bars and restaurants for a long time. I was an educator, like I managed projects, managed teams, stuff like that. And like I always found myself struggling with getting people to like hold to like the standard of like the institution or whatever it is, and like really wanting to help them like be the best expression of themselves or do the thing that was like most authentic to themselves. And then when I discovered coaching, it was like, here's the thing that gets right at that, really. So I consider myself like incredibly privileged to be able to work with people to really like figure out like a practice in life that works really well for them, and create. One of the big focuses of my work is like how to create internal safety and building self-trust, like radical self-trust in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Thank you for the work that you do. And I love as you were speaking. I think ever since the first time that we talked, I was like, I love the
I
fact that
can't hear you. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening over here. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
This is so embarrassing.
That's okay.
What could be going on here?
Can you hear me now?
Good Lord.
Can you hear me now?
The worst is if you can still hear me, and everyone can hear me kind of cursing while I'm trying to figure out
These things
what the
happen.
fuck
These things
is
happen.
happening.
Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. Oh, are we back?
All right. Hey, we're we're at,
Can
if
you hear me?
you hear if you
I can hear
hear
you.
me
Can you hear
now, do I
me?
have am I coming across with like an echo or something, or does it sound okay?
No, no, you sound good. You sound perfect. Can you hear me? I think the problem is that she can't hear me. Huh? Say it again.
Uh it it keeps dropping me.
That's okay. Can you hear me though?
A little bit, yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Uh-huh.
Nah. Yeah?
You yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right.
Uh, I'm I'm
That's okay. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. These things happen. Uh-oh.
I'm so sorry about this. I
Uh-oh. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Man, this is rough. I'm so sorry. Okay.
No, don't be.
Let's
These
see. As
things
long as the
happen, right?
sound isn't.
No,
Yeah, I
these
know,
things
but
happen. Okay. No, don't worry about that. Look, this is live stream, so these things do happen. You know, you all the way in New York. I'm in
all right.
Colorado, crazy all over the world, right? You know, so these things do happen, right? These are just things that happen, right? Comes part of it's part of the
True
territory.
story.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can hear me? Okay. So I have a question, right? Because I
As
know that
long as you're
we
willing to roll with the punches.
I'm willing to roll with the punches. I am. I'm good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I think I know I have a gorgeous face. I'm wondering if I turn off my camera, if like it'll give us a little bit more stability so we can at least talk.
Oh, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and try if you want to.
All
How's
right.
that?
Let's see.
Does that work? Uh-oh.
It seems to have picked up a little bit.
Can you hear me now? Hmm. We are experiencing.
Man, a little bit.
Can you hear me? Can you let me know when you can hear me pretty good? You're dropping out pretty bad. That's the next step. We're gonna try some Morse code over here. We're gonna type it all in. Oh no. Hmm, okay. All right. So I am up here by myself while my guest is she's going to restart her computer to try to see if she can come back in a better connection. So we are experiencing some technical difficulties on that end. You guys already know these things do happen. So it's nothing, if we need to, we can reschedule. But while I'm up here and I got you guys as well, I want to give you guys some updates and things like that, and maybe a little bit background on Sam as well. You guys already know she has an amazing story. But yeah, just a brief update. So we do for most of you guys that are tuning in, if you don't know already, we do have the Global Grief Conference 2025 coming up April 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. This is a 3-day live stream event, and we have some amazing people. We are adding in, a few extra things in there as well. We have music, we have comedy, we have animations, we have, we have a few things going on. So, be sure to tune in on there. And if you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch from up there. But we will be live streaming across other different platforms as well. We'll be on all the social media platforms. So you can tune in up there. But most importantly, you might want to just try to find me. I'll be dropping the Rumble link as well as the YouTube link as we begin to put the material together. And so you guys, do me a favor, subscribe to it, right? You guys can always unsubscribe after the conference if that's something that you want to do. But if you guys want to be updated and stay up to date on all the other things that we have going on, all the other episodes that I have coming up, stay subscribed, right? You know what I'm saying? You guys already know we don't disappoint. We bring some amazing people with some amazing journeys. Uh, Tomorrow, for the men out there that have signed up for the resilience program, resilience is starting. We will be, I'll have the Google Meets link out there for you guys to jump in on and be a part of, if you want to be a part of the program. But also, we'll be doing in person as well. The address, we've already dropped that. It will be posted up, and we can. So we're going to be taking people in. This from 2 to 4 Mountain Time. So you guys tune in for that. Especially you men, come on, jump on in there and be surrounded by other men that have gone through something similar. Be supported. Go through the program. It's 12 weeks, right? 12 weeks of just connecting and unpacking all of those things that we may be struggling with. But also, it is a space for us to be able to talk and be vulnerable, be supported, but also start healing. Right, as men, you guys already know. I'm not speaking nothing that you guys don't already know. It's we do find it hard to be able to talk to other people, be able to connect with other people what we're going through, because sometimes we don't know how they may take it, or they may perceive us as being weak and things like that. And it's far from the truth, man. But we have to be able to address our own things in order to show up in other people's lives, especially our families, the people that depend on us the most. But we have to heal for them so we don't spill over on top of them as well. As we're waiting for Sam to jump back on, she's just rebooting. Put some questions in the comments and everything like that. I'll be sure to answer them as I'm sitting up here waiting for her to jump in as well. What else is coming up? Oh yes, the new book is out as well. Men Grieve Too. There's been, we did the book. It is actually out. I have the links for you guys to go and pre-order your copy. It's 8 of us men that come together and wrote some amazing stories. So you guys get to find out a lot more about me in my journey. But also, that is book number 2. I have 3 more books coming out as well. Which one is going to be my baby, which is another anthology, and it's called The Foreign Love Language of Grieving Men. And so that's going to be pretty exciting. We have more grief symposiums coming up. We have more webinars coming up. Some exciting people doing some amazing things. Lincoln, thank you for tuning in. My brother, everybody's tuning in on Instagram. Thank you guys for tuning in over there as well. And so as we wait and everything, after hearing all of that great, amazing news, please put your questions and comments in the comment section. So and I will address them as we go on. Right. Hopefully you guys are still hanging in there with me while I wait on my guests. Right. Awesome, awesome. So I'm just waiting for her to jump back on, fellas. Thank you guys for your patience as well. That definitely means a lot. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh, some exciting things. My friend is doing a lunar celebration tomorrow at 5 p.m. here in Fort Collins. So if you guys are out here and you want to come to an amazing celebration, you want to be a part of the culture, please. Okay. Let's see. You would like to know. Well, well, it's not really simple, but if you do have a client that's dealing with multiple losses and things like that, it's allowing them the space to deal with those multiple losses, right? Whatever it looks like for them. And coming from a place where I have had to deal with multiple losses myself, every loss is different. So don't try to get them to move through it in a way to where you can do more damage to them. Let them deal with the losses in the way that they need to deal with them. And just make sure that you're walking with them. So, most importantly, what I like to tell people when you're going through these things, know how to be a visitor in their space, right? Don't try, yeah, one by one. That's the key to it. Don't let Because what happens a lot of times, when they try to deal with too much at one time, it becomes a grief overload, and it becomes stuck. And if you're someone who's trying to help them through that, you may not know how to get them to move through that. So let them deal with it one by one, right? You know what I'm saying? If they're dealing with child loss, let them deal with that one because that's going to be a hard one. And let them guide you to what they need, right? That's the whole purpose of being effective in this world of grief. Let the client guide you to what they need and not what you think that they need, right? Hold that space with them, be in the moments with them, because a lot of times if they deal with multiple ones, what they'll do from time to time, they will bounce from moment to moment that they've had with those loved ones. You have to be able to pivot in those different areas, right? Journaling is disclosure. How far do you go? Well, disclosure is not up to me, it's up to them. um, Disclosure is pretty much the steps that they take when they've gotten to a place of healing, right? Deep in their healing. And they can pretty much not let it go, but they come to a place of acceptance where they can look at the situation and go, I can now accept my reality, this new reality that they have, that I've now been embarked on. So take that time. You're like, and again, the key to it is no matter how you look at it, is being a visitor in that. Oh, me? For me, disclosure. Well, disclosure is when I've gotten them to the next destination. So I'm a little bit different. I don't have any time limit with my clients. My clients are with me until they don't need me, right? My job is pretty much different. I know there's people like, oh, there's some point you got. No, I walk with them until they don't need me anymore. Because for one, I don't want to miss a moment of their journey with them anyone who's ever dealt with loss and things like that, the worst thing that you could do is leave them in their hardest moments, because grief can come back, and it bounces back and forth. For me, disclosure is knowing that I left them better than what I found them, right? And and I'm able to move to the next person. But my door is always open to them, right? Here I am. And so when I say this, I come from a place of um, better understanding. I've dealt with my multiple losses. Well, not really dealt with them. I've grown with them, and things like that, from parental loss to sibling loss to child loss and things like that. And I still struggle with some of them from time to time. And I'm a human being. Just because I'm a grief coach doesn't mean that I don't start grieving. Grieving never stops. It's not linear. There's no stopping point at it. You just get to a place to where you're able to just deal with it a little bit more better than in the beginning. You're going to continue having waves. For myself, I'm there. I'm always there. I've had clients that's been with me for a couple of years, but of course, my services, yes, from survive to thrive, right? And most people, including myself, I was that, right? I was the survivor. I went through it, and I said, you know what? I have to survive this. What happens a lot of times in survival mode, sometimes we don't know how to come out of that, right? Because we haven't dealt with the underlying traumas. We haven't dealt with the abuse, or things like that. And it took me a long time to learn that. It really did. It took me a long time to learn that. And I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily thriving. I will say that I'm in a lot better place than I was, a few years ago, and things like that. But it took a lot of work. It took a lot of unpacking. It took a lot of addressing, and it took a lot of accountability. It took a lot of forgiving myself. It took a lot of having grace and patience with myself, as well as other people, because the biggest thing that I had to understand is that people were speaking to me from a place where they were doing the best that they could with what they understood, right? And what that means is that people will speak to you from a place of genuine care, because they're used to seeing you in a different space. So when a person is used to you being a strong person, of course they don't want to see you struggle. So they try to push you through that. And when you don't understand that, you could take it personal. And that's where the survival techniques come in there, because now you have to be you're going to do a few things. You're going to you're going to isolate yourself. You're going to be very irritable with people. These are all normal things. These are all normal things. You're going to push people out of your life. These things do happen. They do. So, when it does happen, don't think that it's out of the norm. You're not, look, these things do happen. It's normal. It's totally normal. And so for myself, um, disclosure was understanding that I no longer had to survive the loss, right? I no longer had to survive the loss. I had to learn from it. I had to learn from it. And the things that I did learn may not be what other people are going to learn. So, but I can share that journey of mine with you. And what I learned was that energy doesn't die. I was grieving the flesh. I was grieving the person, the physical person there with me, and that's a normal thing. But I was given something different in my grief. I was given a different connection, a different understanding that they were still here with me, right? In thought and in love, and in my heart. And so I was able to take that and turn it into something different. Not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to do that. So don't think that everybody is. Some people are going to do different things, right? They may just come to a place where they're able just to get up in the morning and be able to breathe and be able to eat again, be able to take a shower, or maybe just being able to go out, and be around a few people at a time. You don't have to rush it. It's your grief. You take your time, right? And if a person is walking with you, they're definitely going to understand that. They're going to look and go, yeah. How do you help others challenge their? Hmm, how do I help people do that? I'm gonna put this up here and everything, because I love this question. The way that I help them is through journaling, right? Because if they're dealing with multiple things, you need to once you write it down and put it in and you put it in front of you, it's no longer something that you can hide. It's no longer in the back of your head. It is now in the forefront. And so you can always go back in and go, this is what I'm struggling with. See, as a person in the grief field, I don't claim to know what you're struggling with unless you let me into your world. And once you let me into your world, then we can start taking those next steps. But again, not rushing. See, that's the whole thing. You can't rush people. You have some people that's going to jump in and be like, "Oh, I want this to be over with quick," right? And you have to be careful with that too, because a lot of times when you're rushing things like that, um, you skip steps. You skip certain things, and what it has a bad tendency to do. And I know if there's people out there in the grief field, please put up your comments and let me know if I'm right or wrong, if I'm on the right path. But what happens a lot of times if you skip steps, it has a tendency of coming back, right? And rearing its head back at you, going, hey, you dealt with all of this, but you forgot this over here. And so, when you can put it in when you put it in front of you, it's an awareness, right? Because in grief and dealing with trauma or dealing with addiction and things like that, it's too easy to look past those things. It's way too easy to look past those things and and go off and do something else without really addressing them. And then that's when we find ourselves in trouble, right? And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. But again, it goes back to what I said before. You know, when you're dealing with individuals that are going through that, you have to know how to be a visitor. And a visitor just shows up. And it's just there, right? And what I mean by that, like, okay, I'm gonna use a prime example. I had a friend that was going through some multiple losses, and I knew what he was going to do. And so what I did, I made it a point to show up. I knew he wasn't going to answer his phone, but I would call anyway. But I would call while I was already on my way to his house. And once I got there, I had food, right? And I know he hadn't been out the house in a while, but hey, man, here's some food for you, man. And automatically, I'm already looking around his house to seeing, hey, is his laundry done? Is his dishes done? Has his floor been vacuumed? Or what I'm saying, has the dogs been fed? Have the dogs been walked? Does he have groceries in his house? I'm already looking for those things, right? Because for one, I don't want that individual to think that they have to cater to me, right? Without yeah, I'm gonna put it like that. I just didn't want them to feel that they had to cater to me. Because sometimes, and I had to learn this the hard way, sometimes you have to allow people to take care of you. And so when you're dealing with multiple things like that, the best place that they can be is in a place of stillness, right? Of quietness. Let them sit down. Your company is good enough. Your company is there. And they're not looking for you to try to fix them. So when they do open up the doors, here's the key. Now I'm gonna put this out here. I'm gonna put this out here because this can be something used across the board. When you show up and they do open up the doors for to have that conversation, don't make it about you, right? It's not about you. It's about them. So always keep the focus on them. Allow them to talk without interrupting. Allow them to talk without feeling as if they got to compete with you, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a competition. Too many people do that. The key to it is to create an atmosphere. Create that atmosphere and being able to be in the atmosphere with those individuals, right? And I say individuals because you don't want to have too many people in that space because it can get pretty crowded real quick. And people, if they're not in a place where they're ready for it yet, they will shut down on you. Right? I know a lot of people will come in and say, "Oh, well, they came into the space and things like that." Just because they came into the space doesn't mean that they're ready. And so, don't try to dictate or direct the conversation and things like that. That is not for you to do. You have to allow them to take you to a place where they're yes, Yes, I could have simplified that, but I figure I would give a few examples as well. Sorry about that. I'm talking, waiting on the guests to come back in and things like that. But yes, as a a collaborative approach. So you can do that. But now, because collaborative can mean many things, do me a favor, elaborate on that just a little bit, so I have a better understanding what you mean by collaborative report approach. Are you meaning collaborative with the individual or with another worker? Trinity boy, how you doing, my brother? Great to see you over here, man. I'm just waiting for my guest to come back on. She's having some technical difficulties and everything. Um, okay, all right. So yeah, so in situations like that, it's a lot of times you just have to play it by ear unless you're a therapist and things like that. And again, everybody has their own way of doing things. Mine's is more of mine's is more of approach to put you in a position to address the things that you're going through, because I look at the whole person in different ways. Yes, yes. In many ways, I am. That's exactly what it is. I'm like Google Maps for them, right? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say that I'm an agent of change. I would just say, as humbly as I can, I'm a servant, right? I'm a servant to the people. Um, I'm just a person who has struggled through my own, right? And I've learned from it, and I found who I was in my grief. And so, I've learned some things across the times. I've made my fair share of mistakes and things like that, in order to be who I am. But that's who I'm like. I'm like Google Maps for them. That once I'm with them, I'm just here to walk them to their next destination, right? Whatever that destination looks like, and whatever that road looks like for them, I'm just there with them. I'm there to walk them. I definitely appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. You know, but they have they have their way of doing things, and I'm pretty sure for some people it works and things like that. I can't speak upon the training out there. I did get my grief certification, but I didn't go through no classes or anything like that. I just saw a course and I took it because I knew that this was what I wanted to do. And I also understood that most of the courses out there couldn't teach me the things that I had to learn through my own experience. And so, life, when you had that lived experience, it does make a bit of a difference, right? But just like most things, people sometimes get wrapped up into having those certifications because they it helps other people understand. Oh, you did go and get this certification, because people like seeing certifications. Oh, I got certifications all over the wall, right? I got mental health. I got mental health first aider. I got recovery coach. I got grief coach, trauma recovery coach. All of these different things. But they're just there because it makes other people feel comfortable. But and I want them to feel comfortable. You know, but I also want them to be able to. I want them to understand that when the work starts, it's going to be you doing the work, right? I can't do the work for you. I'm here to make sure that I'm here to make sure that you know that somebody's here with you, because as we all know, grief is such a lonely road. And exactly. Same here. Live life first and studied after 50. Yeah, and and that's what happens a lot, and that's what makes individual like yourself the change makers, right? And you're absolutely right. I love that you said life is subjective, but if you don't mind, I want to add to that as well, right? I want to add to that because of the simple fact of um I get this a lot with people. Life is subjective, but life is honest, right? And follow me for a minute because I know there's some people out there going through it right now. I know they're out there going through it right now, and I just want to give you something to hold on to, right? Um, Life is honest. It's not fair, unfair. It's not, it can be challenging, but it's not fair, unfair. It's very, very honest. We as people, we fill life with expectations, or sometimes we let others put expectations on us that we may not meet. And sometimes the expectations that we put on ourselves, these are the worst ones, the ones that we put on ourselves that we don't live up to. And then we beat ourselves up over it. The one thing I learned about life was life never said any of that. Life just said, I'm here. If you want it, you can go out there and get it. Are you going to be challenged? Yeah. Are you going to have some challenging moments? Are you going to have some ups? Yeah. That's part of it. That's part of it. But it's what you do with it. It's definitely what you do with it. Now, I made my fair share of mistakes. I did. I messed up a lot, right? So I'm not perfect. And I don't think anybody is, right? But I messed up a lot. Um, Made some really bad mistakes, you know, made some really tough choices, things like that. I had trust issues, right? I was an alcoholic. I was a very violent individual. Um, Homelessness because because I made those mistakes and things like that. But I never asked anybody to pick me up though, right? And this is how I'm able to show up in other people's lives with during those course of moments that they're going through because I do have that experience, right? I got clients who are homeless right now. I do, and I'm walking with them every day. I'm walking with them, saying, "Hey, let's let's come in. Let me help you," and things like that. Um, and sometimes they want the help, and sometimes they don't. Pride and ego, right? I get it. I used to be that person. I wouldn't take nobody else's help neither. But the key to it is that they're always in places where I can find them. So I do pay attention to that. They're always in places where I can find them. So whenever I go out and buy food or something like that, right? I always think to myself, hey, I know such and such is over here. I know he's going to be by this tree, and and so I go over there, and they may act as if, oh, Tony, you always bothering me. You're a pain in my butt, Tony. And I say, I know. They be like, what you got in the bag? I go, well, you hungry? Yeah, I can eat a little something, like handling food and everything. And they go, you gonna sit down for a minute? Yeah, I sit down with you for a minute. Well, I sure do appreciate this and things like that. And we sit down, we have a great conversation. And I get up and I go, hey, I'll see you later. I got to go take care of some things. Okay, Tony, I'll probably be over here tomorrow if you want to come back over here. So, it's I find it interesting that that's the way it goes with some of my clients. They're so funny, and they're good people. They're good people, right? And I do make sure that they get to their doctor's appointments and things like that. Like, don't I got to go to the doctor's appointment? I don't know how I'm going to get there. Well, where you going to be at tomorrow before that time? I'll probably be over here at such as okay. I'll come over and get you. I'll get you down to your doctor's appointment and things like that. And so I make sure that they're taken care of. And we become the change that we want to see. And look, to be truly honest with you, I'm not an inspiration. I'm not an inspiration, no one. I'm just an example of I want to be the change that I want to see. Right? I want more of us going out there and helping individuals, paying it forward. right? Especially those who have had to walk this path before, had to go struggle, who have gone through your addictions and things like you guys know a lot more about those areas than I do, right? And you know what it took for you to get to where you are. Go out there and do that for someone else, right? Don't let don't don't be so don't be so focused and going out here trying to make money all over the place, right? Go out here and go out here and serve, right? Go out here and serve. And I know there's some. Look, I've had people get on my case many times before where they're like, "Well, Tony, you should be getting." No, I don't. Look, check it out, man. I don't care. I can care less about your money. If you was to go to my website, that website that's going across the bottom right there, and try to go donate, you wouldn't be able to. And I did that on purpose. Although it's a nonprofit, I don't do grants. I don't let people donate to me or anything like that. For the simple fact of this is my dream. And if you want to support it, help me out by getting more people, help me reach more people, right? That's all the thing I can ask. But if you want to help out even more, go out there and help those that need the help. You've walked through your mud. You know what it feels like to get your butt whipped by life. You know what it feels like. So go out there and help that person that's going through that right now. Pay it forward. Show them, be the example of what it would take for them to get through theirs. Right? And not saying that you gotta hold their hands, but man, walk with them. Sit with them when it's time for the rest. I I I have a philosophy. Whenever I'm walking with someone and I can see them stumbling a little bit, I may say, hey, if you need to sit down for a bit, we can do that, right? And we'll sit here as long as you need to. You need because I know what that means, right? They're about to go through. They're about to start breaking down. They're working through the thing. They're working through it, right? They're growing. They're beginning to allow themselves to be more vulnerable, to start the crying, to start the talking, and things like that. So in that moment where I'm sitting with them, they're contemplating because now I've earned that trust with them, right? And I think that's what we all need to do as grief practitioners, as as mental health practitioners, as trauma coaches, as recovery coaches. We need to earn the trust with the people that we're committed to serving, because there's nothing more beautiful than that. I'm a servant. I have a gift that was given to me. I'm not asking to take nothing away from you, but I want to give you what it is, whatever it looks like for you, right? So when you're in that moment and I'm giving you my gift and everything, I want you to take it. I want you to take it and use it the way that you need to, please, right? And then when you're ready to get up, I'll get up with you. And as you begin to move and grow and through this thing called grief, and you begin to stand up a little taller, you begin to talk a little straighter, right? You begin to walk with a sense of purpose. I know that we're almost close to your destination. So my goal is to walk you to your next destination, because whomever you're supposed to meet at that after that, I know you're in a place to where you can help them. And I'm going to keep moving, right? I may see you again. I may not see you again. But the one thing that I'm not going to do, I'm not going to take it personal because I understand your journey, and I may understand it to a point of where I understand that you have to go on your own path. But I do wish you well, right? Because you allowed me the moment to be able to walk with you as grief workers, as practitioners in this thing. I think we should all strive to do that. We really should. We should all strive to do that. We should all strive um, to be able to give people what they need, right? Um, but also, also understanding your own journey. So this thing that we do is so multifaceted, and it's selfless and it's selfish in a while, because I get excited. I get excited when a person invites me into their path, because I get to walk with them. You know how exciting that is for me to see that, to watch you in the moments, your darkest moments. your darkest moments. You just invited me to walk with you. You know how exciting that is for me? Just to see you transform into the person that you're supposed to be and to be a part of that, to watch the work that you're going to put in yourself to get to a place of healing, to get to your place of, you know what I'm saying, maybe having a little peace in your life. Or maybe, just maybe, you may get to a place to where you may decide to say, hey, you know what? I want to go and help other people like this. You may find your path, you find your path and purpose, right? And servitude to other people, right? You may go off and do some amazing things. Like with me, things I've done, right? It's crazy because I never saw it coming. I never saw any of this stuff coming. Creating the very first ever global grief conference, um, writing programs. Yeah, exposure of their vulnerability is very special, right? Because it looks different in everyone, but there's also commonalities that you can probably relate to, right? And when a person allows you to do that, oh man, oh man, there's nothing else more beautiful than that. When they go, okay, they gain safety without judgment. Yes. And I'm glad that you're putting those out there because these are the things that we're challenged with in the world. Right. So if you take all of those different things and put it together, then you come up with a blueprint and you go, okay, if I want this person to be vulnerable with me, I have to earn trust with them. That means that I'm going to have to sit with them through some things without judgment. Why? Because somewhere down the line, as a man, now I'm speaking from as a man, I've been judged. I've been called weak. I've been called all kinds of things, right? Because, you know what I'm saying? Yes, hence idiot. I kind of put two and two together. I was just going on this little story. I thank you for allowing me to be able to do that. But yeah, self disclosure. You're absolutely right, and everything kind of ties in together. So yeah, that's I love the way you did that. I really do. But now, not even a but I'm just going to say this as a man. One of the biggest challenges that men um, face when we're asked to be open and vulnerable. So I'm gonna just give you guys some tools. If you got a man in your life, um, to help him, right? To help him out. If you're going to invite that man in the space to where you're asking him to be vulnerable. Here's some things that can help you. Don't push him. Don't do that. All right. Because just because you're ready to talk doesn't mean that they're ready to talk. Don't do that. Right. If you push him, he'll walk away. Right. Um, if that individual, if that man decides that he wants to open up because he trusts you, you've earned that trust, and you turn around and you begin to cut him off and you begin to make it about you, you'll never get that man. And listen to me, please listen to me. You'll never get that man to open up to you ever again. And you'll always wonder what's going on with him. Is he okay? How come he doesn't talk? Because you've already destroyed that. You've done what society has already inbred in us. Society says no one cares what we go through. No one wants to hear about what we go through. The society says your only work as a man in a family is to provide and to protect. All the rest of it, you're going to have to man up. You're going to have to take your butt with us. Hence, that's why most men walk around and don't say nothing. Because life teaches us these things. And it's the people around us that teaches us these things. You can't, no one cares what we're going through. Your feelings, who cares about your feelings? Oh, you ever hear this term before? Oh, you all up in your feelings, huh? Yeah, and they don't understand that that person's hurting. I know, I've been there. I've, you know, I've had words saying to me, the biggest ones that made me go off on my own. Now, I did go into an isolation, but it's what worked for me, because I had trust issues, right? I had very severe trust issues after this one. The words that were spoken to me after my son passed away, yeah, it's about 6 months after he passed away. I was in a relationship, That person said, I was going through it. I was feeling some sort of way. Couldn't describe what I was feeling, but I was hurting. I was hurting really bad. And the, my significant other at the time, she goes, "You should be over it. It's been 6 months. You know, nothing hurts like that. People that care about you, or you think that's supposed to care about you, use those words right there, breaks your heart." And I decided right then and there, I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I packed up my stuff and I left. I didn't look back. But what it ended up doing, see, I made that choice. And what it ended up doing, it compiled on me, right? It compiled on me something fierce. I I had to not only deal with the loss of my son, but I had to come to terms that my dad was gone. I had to come to terms that my younger brother was gone. And then as soon as I came to terms with that and thought I was going to be in a good place, I lost my mother. And I watched him die. That's a hard place to be when you're a young man in the world, because now I felt like life had played a cruel joke on me. And I think that's what makes me who I am today, right? Because I did feel that way. I felt like life played a cruel joke on me. See, I wasn't much of a father to my daughters because of my life. I made some bad decisions, right? I chose the streets. Well, better yet, they chose me. And I couldn't let it go. I was addicted to it. And it whooped me. I got battle scars. I got the scars to prove it. I got the prison DOC number to prove it, right? But I also had the PTSD to prove it as well. So I had to deal with all of these different things. So, what I'm saying, on top of dealing with all of these losses, I had to go back and address the things that I didn't address, the multiple people that I seen murdered, and what I'm saying, the multiple people I seen die. And it's not the fact that they were murdered, it was how they were murdered, right? It was how they died that affected me, right? You know what I'm saying? And I've been so used to just manning up and just keeping it moving. Now, I was real good for a long, very, very long time of living out of a backpack, right? You know what I'm saying? I was already homeless. I was already homeless. You can't take nothing else away from me. And my motto was, you can't hit a moving target. You can't hit a moving target. And those that knew me back then know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? I was out there gang banging and stuff like that. You can't hit a moving target, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it real hard for you to get me. But if I was that guy, I was that guy. And if people would have got the chance, they would have taken me out. They tried several times, right? But I had to deal with those things. I had to I had to deal with I had to deal with childhood molestation too, right? I had to heal all of those different things. And so the people, these men that I work with, they've all gone through something similar. They all have gone through something similar. And so that's what my life has been for me. Um, the kid, but the beautiful part about it was I reached my bottom, my version of rock bottom, and that meant almost taking my life. Now I know most people don't come back from that. I almost didn't. I didn't. Almost didn't. Right. And I begged and pleaded with this life to just let me go. I begged and pleaded with God, let me go. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I was so tired, right? And I realized I actually planned out my suicide. I actually planned out my suicide. And from there it was an eye opener, right? Because I was ready to go. The thing about it was, though, that I want to make clear, there was one thing that was missing, I had no fear of doing it. I've never had a fear of dying. I always had mixed feelings about taking my own life, though. Right? If I can encourage somebody else to do it, I was going to do it. But unfortunately for me, everybody I knew was gone. People moved around, going to prison, things like that. But so after this one, it was just me, and I made a conscious decision. I said, I'm tired of life taking things away from me. So this gives you a better idea of where I come from, right? You know what I'm saying? And why I am who I am in this grief field, and why I love doing it so much. Because there's somebody out there right now listening to me that can relate to what I'm talking about. And I want to encourage them to get the support that they need and deserve. Go and talk to some people. But take your time, have some grace, right? Um, and address those things. Address your addiction if you're struggling with addiction. Address your mental health, right? And take care of yourself. Dr. Jordan Peterson, you guys have probably heard me say this on the podcast before. Dr. Jordan Peterson, love the guy. He had a quote. He said, "Love yourself as if you're somebody worth being loved." And that's deep right there, because you do. You got to love yourself as if you're somebody worth being loved. And it starts with you, because you teach people how to love you, and you also teach them how to treat you, right? So you can't be mad at someone else for treating you like crap. It's only because they look at you and how you treat yourself. So if you don't like it, treat yourself better, please. I encourage you to do that, and you're so welcome. I've shared my story several times and things like that, and every time I do, it just takes me to a place. It really does, where I appreciate this work that I do that much more, because it does put me in a mindset of there's somebody else out there that I have to reach, right? There's somebody else out there that's looking for a Tony to walk them to their next destination. There's a conversation that needs to be had with people. That's why I love doing these podcasts, right? It's not about the subscribers or anything like that. It's having the conversations and making them available to you guys, right? To let you know that there's people out here that care. There's people out here that have a heart for you and want to support you, want to walk with you, want to give you what they carry. Because I'm only one version of this. That's it. There's so many amazing people out there. And that's why I always tell people, if you haven't, go back and check out the YouTube channel. There's everybody in there that have information that you can use, right? Reach out to them. They're doing some amazing things, right? And because, they do things that I may not know how to do. But I'm a curious guy, and I'm always willing to learn, right? Just so I can be better. My goal in doing this is that I don't ever want to have to turn nobody else away, because I don't have the proper resources. I didn't do my due diligence to build up a network for you guys to be able to reach out and be able to have the support that you need and deserve, right? you know, and I'm honest about that. I'm very honest. Hey, I may not be the best fit for you, but I know some people, right? I'm like, look, as they say, if anybody's ever sold drugs before, I'm the plug, right? I want to be the plug for that, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Most definitely. Let me know. Reach out to me, please. You know what I'm saying? And let me know. We can set up a time to do a Google Meets, and we can start brainstorming some things as well. And I would love to. I would love the opportunity to work with other people and put more out into the world, right? You know what I'm saying? And and honestly, I would just like to be on your journey with you, you know what I'm saying? And just to be a part of what you got going on. And if I can contribute, then yes, I would love to. I would definitely love to. If you can find where I can add value in. Oh, Okay, hey, Toto, VR. Hey, reach out to. Look, we're gonna have to connect. We're gonna have to connect on that, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that's exciting to me. That's definitely exciting to me. Let's make it happen. I would say yes. Let's make it happen. And I got a lot of other things going on too. So oh yeah, that's something that I wanted to put out there as well. So you guys, we're gonna have some stuff coming in for the kids out here in the world, right? That are struggling with their own grief and trauma, and I, no, you don't need my life experience, and you know what I'm saying, and or the knowledge. You don't need that because you got your own with that, and that's what makes you special. That's what makes you unique and authentic. You don't need my life experience. I don't look. I'm gonna tell you something. I wouldn't wish the things I went through in my life on no one. I wouldn't. The knowledge that I had to go, that the knowledge that I obtained from it, um, that was born out of trauma. It was born out of a whole lot of death. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I really don't. And because of the simple fact of it's painful. It's really painful, right? And this path, this 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 path that I'm on is a very lonely one. It's a very very lonely path, and um, but it's what I'm called to do. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. We all contribute to knowledge, and that's what I would love to get. The knowledge and everything. I share that. I share my knowledge with people. Take it and use it if you need, if you can, and things like that. Um, but yeah, it came from a place, man. It definitely came from a place of pain. And I don't wish, again, you heard me say it before, I'm gonna say it again. I don't wish it. I don't wish that pain on no one. I don't wish the loneliness on anyone. I'm sort of used to it. I've been alone my whole entire life. That's how I moved around, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's what made me effective because everywhere I move, I realized that I was meant to be there. Um, I wish nothing but happiness for people. I wish that people would find people that they can connect with and have them be their support in their lives, right? And to be able to encourage them, and I wish nothing but a beautiful life for people. My life is not meant to. My life was never that way, right? And so knowledge, wisdom, all of those things, it's not mine. It's yours if you want it. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Just keep asking the questions. I'll share it with you, right? Um, yeah, you just let me know what you need from me. Just let me know what you need, right? And I'd be happy. It'd be my honor to give it to you. But as I was saying before, this path of grief, I'm very empathetic to a lot of people. I may struggle with emotions. Um, I appreciate you, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Yeah, I, I definitely appreciate that. And people, that's what that's all about, right? You know what I'm saying? It's about connecting with people on this level that we're here for, being vulnerable and open, sharing our experiences so we can help others to be, we can help others learn how to be better at what they do as well. Not That's not taking nothing away from or even being disrespectful. We all can we all can benefit from being better at what we do on a day-to-day basis. To think that we don't know it all or anything like that, we're going to find ourselves stuck if we ever get to that point. Don't do that, right? We got more people. We got other people out there that's going to do that, right? Let them do them. But if you roll in my circle, you guys already know, man. You know what I'm saying? Together we are stronger. Together we can do so much more. right? And I'm all about us uniting. I mean, if you look at it, that's all I've been trying to do with everyone. Because I remember when I first started here, I do. I'm gonna share this little secret with you guys, right? You know what I'm saying? When I first started doing this work, the people there's people that I work with right now that shut the doors in my face. Yeah. There's people out there right now that I helped start nonprofits that drug me through the mud, right? There's people out there right now that I would have given the shirt off my back, but they chose to take the shirt, you know what I'm saying, when I wasn't looking. They chose to try to hurt me along the way. And I didn't go after them or anything like that, but I went through my go through. I knew it was part of the process. It's part of the process I had to endure. And I did, right? And I laughed. Oh man, they whooped up on me pretty good though, right? You know what I'm saying? And they made it real hard for me to do what I was doing. I was told that I was going to fail. I was told that I was wasting my time. Yeah, I was told all of that stuff. Crazy part about it is, you want to know the sacrifices, right? Nobody ever talks about the sacrifices. See, people see the top of the iceberg, but they never see what's on the bottom of the iceberg, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't know the sleepless nights, the homelessness, the you know what I'm saying, the people that lie to you to tell you that they're going to help you out. And you know what I'm saying? They don't talk about, you know what I'm saying, the ups and downs and the challenges. They don't talk about none of that, right? They see the top of it and they go, wow, I want to do that. Or they all often think, oh wow, he's pretty. I'm not successful. I'm not, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even close, right? Yeah, this is how I fund everything that I do, right? To make sure that don't nobody else do it. I work nights. I do security at night, and I do this during the daytime. So I sacrifice my sleep for other people. There's times where I do need to rest and things like that, but a lot of people don't understand that, or maybe they do and they just don't care, right? You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as I do try to rest, they're like, "Oh, my phone's going off." Well, I know now that I got you on the phone. I want to do this, that, and another. I want to talk about this, that, and another. So no, it's part of it. It's part of it. You got to be willing to make those sacrifices too, right? You have to be willing to set aside um, personal things to be a servant, right? Um, and to know that what you do makes a difference in someone else's life. I do have a self care plan, yeah, and this is my self care plan, right? You know what I'm saying? I go to the gym twice a day. I eat right. I meditate. I I have one on one time with my soul, right? And that's my self care plan. I talk to myself on a day to day basis, right? Because I need to know how I'm going to show up, right? If my energy is off, I got to get that right. I don't go out into the world until my energy is right. I got to talk to myself. Hey man, what's going on with you? Hey man, how you feeling today? And sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes I just get up and look at myself and go, man, I love you. I love the shit out of you, right? Um, but myself, the biggest portion of my self care plan is serving other people. Yeah, that's the biggest portion of my self care plan because it makes me feel good, and it's a selfish thing, right? For me to say that, but I'm going to say it. I love serving people because it makes me feel good. It does. I couldn't see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing right now. They can take away everything that I have, and I just go get it right back. It may take me a little bit, but I go get it right back. But if they took away what I do, I wouldn't know how to act. It's who I am, and so that's my self care, right? That's why I don't ask anything from anyone because every day I get up and my cup is full again, and I can go out into the world and I can give it to whomever needs it, right? Without any sort of expectations. without any sort of strings attached. You ever heard this and it made you mad? Hey man, you remember when I did this for you? Oh man, I need you to do this for me, right? Everything comes with strings attached to them. I don't like that. So when I show up into the world, when I show up around people, trust me, what I give is yours. That means when I leave, don't try to give it back. You keep that. Use it. You do you. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna get there. Shoot, man, we're gonna be all right. But that's my self-care though. All of those different things, going to the gym, eating right, you know what I'm saying? Having positive talks with myself. But it always comes back to this, man. Serving other people. It just makes me feel good to know that I've left other people in a better place than when I found them. Yeah, that's that's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. You know, and it goes back to what I said earlier. We're just walking each other to our next destination. Most of us that understand that. So no, I'm very non-judgmental on myself. Self-compassion. What do you do yourself, Tony? Apart from food, hobbies. Oh, I like to fish. I like to go fishing, right? You know what I'm saying? I love fishing. I to be honest with you, I don't have much of a life, man. I don't have much of a life, right? Um, if I'm not working nights and stuff here and things like that, I'm usually here. I love podcasting, so I'm a very simple individual, right? You know what I'm saying? I live a very simple, non-complicated life. And so, you know, I don't go out to bars. I don't drink or do drugs. I don't have time for all those things. I love reading books, right? I have people who amazing people who've sent me books and stuff that they've written. I love reading those books, right? I do enjoy a good movie from time to time, right? But other than that, my life is very simple, very very simple, right? I I got a friend, one of my best friends. We go fishing all the time. I love going out there catching fish. Uh, Only because I like fresh fish, right? I don't like buying fish out the store, so I do that. No, no. I figure if I was going to burn, I would have burned out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? There's a difference, and I do know that there's people out there that do burn out, right? That do go through this, but man, I wish I can explain it. I really wish I could explain it, right? This thing that I do, this thing in grief that I do, yeah, man. I just I really am in love with it. And when you're in love with something, how can you get burnt out on it? It's so many different exciting things that come along with that, right? I get to learn every day. I get to learn something new every day. And that excites me, right? And plus, now I'm gonna tell you what happens to people that burn out. At least this is a thought. You let me know what you think about this. People who burn out and things like that is because they carry things with them, right? They go from client to client to client to client, and they're taking all these things with them. And whereas myself, um, I've learned to when I'm with a client and I'm in that space with them and I'm in those moments with them, when I leave that client, I extract information from it. So it helps me understand how to show up better for other people as well. But once I got that information, I release it. Hey, this is not mine. And I wish healing that comes back on that person, right? I go, hey, this is not mine. I've already learned what I needed to learn from it, but this portion right here, I need to take this away from them and allow and send them healing, right? You know what I'm saying? And send them healing. Give them something to give them faith and courage, and and make them want to get up tomorrow to be in a good place. So no, it doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me. I love it. Look, man. Eventually, I do have to walk away, right? You know what I'm saying? because my life is going to take me other places. But I'm never going to stop doing what I do. I'm never going to stop doing what I do. I really am one of those dudes when I say that I love what I do. I really love what I do, right? Um, no, I couldn't see myself not doing this. And that's coming from a place where I didn't know what I was going to do. I can honestly say I couldn't see myself not doing this. Reason being, grief has been good to me. Grief has been real good to me. I do have boundaries. I do have boundaries, right? Um, I know what's for me and what's not for me, right? And it's not like anybody crosses my boundaries anyway. You know what I'm saying? I don't go out and date or anything like that, because what happens a lot of times is that when I do meet someone, I have to be careful of the conversations that we have. A lot of times I meet people, they don't even know what I do. They don't even know what I do. Now, this is where it gets really really tricky, and I have to understand where those boundaries lies, where those boundaries are, right? Because I may meet someone and we get to talking, and they start talking about their traumas and their grief and all of those different things. I know right then and there that they're not here for me. I know that they're not, so it makes it pretty easy for me to be able to go, okay, I know what I can't do, right? And I don't. I know what I can't do, and the things that I can't do, I can't go past the physical boundaries of that. It becomes a matter of respect after that. But everything else, with everything else, man, it's just real simple for me. It's just real simple for me. I mean, I get to be creative. I've traveled the world. I don't ask to travel the world to go do guest speaking either. I've always paid to go do that. Every book I've ever written, I paid to be in those books. I don't make any money off of them or anything like that. The magazine that I do, that I put together, I don't ask any money for that. I try to give it away as much as I can. Even with the podcast, right? Even with the podcast, I don't. My podcast is not monetized. Yeah, well, I only have 411 subscribers on it, which I appreciate my subscribers and stuff, right? You know, and but I'm growing it, and that's the beautiful part. I'm just growing it. I'm having fun. I'm doing it organically, right? And people are enjoying it. People are enjoying it, and that's what it's about, right? Um, the programs and stuff that I write, I give those programs away. I don't I don't I don't make money off of that stuff. I'd rather you keep your money. I'd rather you keep your money and take care of yourself with it, right? Um, I've always been taken care of. To be honest with you, um, my greatest passion in life is helping others. It is. Other outside of that, it's just figuring out how to be the best version of myself, becoming my authentic self as I move and grow in this life, as I pass through. Right. That's my biggest passion in life. Is understanding. It's understanding that my growth does help others. And I know it may seem kind of strange because maybe most people may think differently than me, right? But I will tell you this: at once upon a time, I was a warrior on the streets, man. I was a beast on the streets. Like I was out there doing some stuff, you know. And what ended up happening with all of this stuff, I became a warrior for my communities. I became a warrior for God, just to do just to do what was right in the world, to leave this world in a better place than what I left it. That's why I don't really worry about too much, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just doing my part. And I couldn't see myself. Well, I really mean, I really honestly mean, man, I cannot see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing right now, right? And people get mad at me because they're like, you need to. I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to go out here and chase nobody's dollar. I don't need to go out here and chase nobody. I don't need to go out here and chase nobody. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. I just keep need to reach as many people as I can, connect them with people out here that are out here doing good things. That's what we're here to do. At least that's what I'm here to do. Right? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, aside, that is my greatest passion in this world, man. It really is. I would die doing what I love doing. But first, I'm gonna live doing what I love doing. I've traveled, man. Look, you really can't ask for too much more, right? You know what I'm saying? I've been after being homeless as many times as I have. I finally got a roof over the top of my head, right? I may not have a lot of money in my bank account. Hell, half the time I'm in the negative. That's fine. I still got food in my stomach though. Um, I got good people around me. People that if I needed help, they would, right? I've had I I've had to ask for help. Um, and I've just been pretty fortunate that people out there did help me. And these people are still part of my life today. So I've been pretty honored and pretty privileged and blessed in those areas. I went through a lot of bad people um, to find a handful of good people that I do have. And, these are people that have become, family to me. I couldn't see it any other way. My life is exactly where it needs to be, how it needs to be, and going in the direction that it needs to go in. You know, um, tomorrow doesn't really bother me. I may not make it till tomorrow, but I know that I've done some good today, right? You know what I'm saying? Um, and I have no regrets. I have no regrets in this life. It took me a long time to get to that point too, and to put everything into perspective. Someone once asked me a couple of years ago, what if I had to choose between my life and someone else's life, if it meant that, what I'm saying, that this person could go home to their family, what would I do? I said I would gladly give my life so that person can go home to his family. Yeah, that's me. So when you see me doing the things that I do, just know that I have no ulterior motives towards anyone. I do it because I love doing it. I really do. And I want other people to find out as well. Well, it doesn't look like I've been talking for hours of change, you guys. And thank you guys for just rolling with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to get Sam back up here to do another segment on here with me and everything. But you guys, thank you for just staying in here with me, allow me to just share my journey, my story, and hopefully I answered some of your questions too, right? And things like that. And so with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down, and I'm gonna got myself an orange, right? So I got myself an orange, so I'm gonna eat that, and I got to get some more work done because I got to get some marketing material done for my presenters, so we can start putting some stuff out there for you guys to be excited about, right? You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, guys, we're going to shut down this episode of the Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. Thank you guys for tuning there in here with me. And if you haven't already, do me a favor, head on over to that YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified every time that we drop an episode. And you're so welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for asking the questions and allowing me to be vulnerable with you as well. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And for everyone else that's been tuning in on Instagram and Facebook and the YouTube and things like that. Thank you guys for just being patient with me, enjoying my story. And hopefully we're going to see you guys soon. I have another one. I have another daily podcast coming up tomorrow. You guys already know I'm on a mission to get 1,000 podcasts in 1 year. And we're still on track. We're doing daily podcasts out here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, guys, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy your day. I love you. And as always, thank you for your continued support. And answer a question for me. And the next time I talk to you guys, just answer this question for me. If you had a superpower, what would it be? Next time we do the podcast, if you guys tune in, give me your answers. Right? I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. Other than that, guys, have a very blessed day. I love you. And thank you so much for everything that you allow me to do. Peace.